Hi there and welcome. You're joining me today for a video on how to make some super easy cool shorts for the beach, the pool, in your garden. Some of them aren't necessarily made for walking around the streets, and you'll see why once I start showing them you. The pair that I'm just going to show you how to make now is this pair. Okay, so it's like a cheesecloth fabric in this beautiful blue and white print, and then why you wouldn't walk around the streets it's because the leg is open. Yeah, so you're just going to wear these over your bikini bottoms or your costume, something that's going to keep you cool, but you know, you can just slip these on if you're going to get up and go to the bar, get yourself a drink, or if you just want to wear them instead of a sarong. These are so easy to do, but keep watching till the end because I am going to show you some more different variations, and there's one pair that I've actually put something on the side that can make you close up your side instead of having it open. So you've got the option of it being open like these or closed. So let's get started on how to make these. So the first thing you need to do is grab for a pair of your shorts, and the shorts I've grabbed for is a pair of these are sleeping. So there's only 2 pieces to these shorts, but the shorts that I'm making obviously has got 4 pieces. So it's just a case of cutting up the centre, but allow a little bit of seam allowance. So I put this straight onto the fabric, laid it flat. I've got one leg inside of the other to get me pattern because these shorts have only got 2 pieces and each piece is per leg. So it's just a case of laying it like that, so you know that if you're going to overlock it, you don't need any seam allowance. On the hem, you need to allow the seam allowance for the hem across the bottom, and then the leg there where it's joined together, you don't need any seam allowance because you've got the overlocking. So when it comes to the top, because it's elasticated waist, what I do is stretch it out and then I hold it there and then I mark it. But because I need some seam allowance, I'll mark it just under a centimetre that I do when I do seam allowance normally. So I allow the amount of seam allowance that I'm going to do. So whatever seam allowance you're going to do, just allow that. And then once I've marked that, I get my other finger and then I stretch that out. So I've got the full width of the cotton piece. And then again, I will just mark there. No seam allowance needed because obviously it's the overlocking. And then from that, I'll bring that in, holding that in position there, and then I will straighten that out and then mark it. Mark the leg because you can titivate that to get it flat. Mark the leg there. It's slightly going in, but do it straight and then come down to your seam allowance. Cut up the side again, like I said, allowing your seam allowance. And then literally, once I've got my first piece, that is my pattern. Now you can also do this, you know, like put it on some paper, have a pattern, paper pattern should I say, that you can keep reusing. But I just use my one leg, one half of leg, and then I use this to cut out the rest of the pieces. So you need to do 2 pieces one way, and then you need to flip it so you've got the opposite leg, because you don't want 2 of those because it ain't going to work for you. You need one leg and then the opposite, so you've got your 4 pieces. So I've got my 2 sides together, so they're going to be my right sides, and the part you're going to sew first is the curved bit that's going to come up at your crotch to your waist. Right, so I'm not really trimming much off because, like I said, it's just the overlocking on the original pattern that I'm following. Grab for my scissors. And then I'm going to grab for the other leg and do the same again, sewing up the curve. Right, and then I'm going to open that up, and the part I'm going to be sewing now is the bottom of the crotch, which is this area. I'm going to put those 2 together, line up that seam in the centre, Join those two pieces. Right, so you've got front and back joined. Now what I'm going to do at this point, I'm literally going to just overlock round everything. I'm going to start off at the first one, and I have the fabric right side facing up because it's the neater side on the overlocking stitch. Right, so I'm going to move on to the jute because everything's been overlocked on that. Right, so I've just gone ahead and I've actually pressed around the side seams and the hem on the bottom of the leg, and I'm not doing the hem as deep as what was on the original shorts. I'm doing a smaller one. Right, so I need to start on a side because I'm going to be putting this lace around it. So let me just get my glasses on for starters, move that out of the way, and then again find out which is the right and the wrong way. So that's the right waist. I need to start at the top where the waist is going to be first of all, and I'm going to put this lace, I'm actually going to put it, oh, that's not the top, is it? That's the top. Right, so I'm going to actually tuck the lace, that's the wrong side, bring that right up to the top. I'm going to just turn it over at the top because when that is turned over it'll be inside. So I'm going to put, I've got the fabric wrong side facing up, just get, oh, so let me just get that under the foot. So I'm just going to, like I say, I've folded that over, and then this here is where I'm going to be stitching on the edge. So let me just put that up there. Alright, so let me just get that stitched on. Yep, and then I'm going to just, where I've got it here, I'm going to be putting it just up to that overlocking there. And the lace is the wrong side facing up because it needs to be the right side on the right side. Some scissors, just need to snip that cotton there that's, there we go. Right, so let me just, yeah, that's okay, just making sure that it's not falling off anywhere. And when I get to the corner, I'm going to just fold that over on that corner. I need to get that tucked in there. Okay, and then I'm going to come across the bottom there. I've just got that there. You know, when it's turned over on the side, it's just coming below the hem, so I need to get that tucked in. Get that on top. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm actually running across the bottom hem at this point. And because I've got actually holes in this lovely lace, I can actually see the fabric through it that I'm, you know, going to be stitching on it and not coming off. Again, I just need to get that and bring it round the next corner. Bring that round, and I just need to bring it up the opposite side. And at the top again, I'm just going to cut a little bit past, so I can just turn that over again. That's going to be inside when the elastic's put on it. Right, so that is the lace all the way around. Now what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to do a double stitch. So where the overlocking is, I'm going to just run round it and put this in the centre of the overlocking, so I get like a twin needle effect on the front. So there you've got like your twin needle stitching. There's only one more step to do, and that's attach the elastic to the waistband. So I've measured round my waist where I'm going to be having the shorts sit, and I allowed some overlap. So I'm going to start off by just putting a few stitches in this to make the circle. I'm just making sure there's no twist in it there. Taking it under and just stitching that together. Now what I'm going to also do at this point is I'm going to grab for 3 clips. So that'll be where my back is. And they ain't actually a front and back, but I will put it in one of the centre seams. So that is the centre, and then I'm going to put those together there. And then get that, and that is my quarter marks, so that the elastic is even going all the way around. Now, so where that join is, I'm going to start off in the centre, and I'm just going to put this just underneath where that overlocking is. So the overlocking's there, the elastic's going to sit just underneath it. Right, so I'm going to stretch this out. So the clip is coming to the side seam, laying that just underneath, and then I'm just going to hold it at the back and help it through. Okay. Right, now at this point I need to get the opposite side of the leg, because this is going to just overlap at this point. So I need to put this one so that at the side it's going to be like so. Right, so let me just get that. And what I'm doing here is where the lace is, I'm just putting the lace on top of each other at this point. So you can see the lace underneath, and this is where the side's going to meet. So I'm going to stretch that elastic to come to that lace. I'm going to take the clip off. And then where that side bit is here, where the meeting, I'm going to do a good back tack there, just to hold it in place so it's extra secure. Get my next clip, pull that to the next seam. Stretch it out. And I'm only using really thin elastic for these particular shorts, because this elastic is so comfy on, it really is. But the thicker ones that I've done, I have used a thicker elastic. Right, again, I need to get the opposite side here. Putting it over, so you put in, you've got your wrong side to your right side there. Okay, so that you've got both your right sides here. Keep holding that in place. Put that on top there. And once again, I'm going to do a good back tack just on that seam. The last quarter. Finish off with a back tack. Let me just get these little snippets of threads. Right, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that over and then just stitch around it again so that the elastic is concealed. And I'm going to be stitching down the centre of the overlocking at this point. So when I'm turning it over, I'm just pulling this so there's no loose bit under here, you know, that can cause a tuck. I'm just going to do a bit of a back tack again over that so that those side seams are really secure. And a bit of a back tack again over them side seams. And this is this first pair finished. So let's go and have a chat. So some of the shorts that I'm going to be showing you, some are ongoing, some are finished and complete. But I've been making these for the last probably week and a half. And I've been doing them for loads of people. I've done them for my sister, my niece and her daughters, my 2 daughters and myself. So let me show you the ones that these are work in progress. So for my niece's daughters, she's got 3 daughters, and I've done these in 3 different colourways. So when they're washed, you can tell whose is who. Yeah? Now, what I've done is made them up as you've just seen me made them up. But when it come to overlocking, the neatest side of the overlocking was done on the wrong side of the fabric facing up. So that when I turned it to the right side, you've got the neatest side of the overlocking showing. So that is, the colour is on the right side of the shorts. And I think that just adds a little bit of edginess to it. So what I need to do with these is just get the elastic measurement from the girls to finish these off, and then once it's got the elastic waist, these are complete. So that is those 3 pairs. So I've done Casey Green, I've done Millie Pink, and then I've done Cody Orange. So they've all got beautiful colours. That's great for summer. Now these are work in progress, and these only need the elastic waist doing, and these are for my daughter Paige because I bought her a bikini last year, which was that colour, this colour. So when I was going through my fabric stash about a week ago, I saw these 2 and I thought, oh, they would make a lovely pair of shorts to go over that bikini. So again, I just need to finish the elastic on these, but if you look at that lace, come closer so you can see how the edge is scalloped because I've literally just cut the netting to where it's embroidered, and then on the back you've just got like this gold lurex effect, and then the sides again will be just open, but that is going to look so pretty on top of a bikini bottom. Now the next pair is again some lacy ones, because I saw this and thought they would be cute as well, wouldn't they? You know, just light and airy to wear over your bikini bottoms. And I've made these for Katie, but again, you've got your open sides, and then you've got this pretty fabric. So that's another super nice pair. Right, so these I've made for my sister Claire, and it's got slightly thicker elastic in these, but this Brodie Angley fabric was actually the bottom of a top. So it was quite wide, this top. I'd actually passed it on to Katie, but then she brought it back to me. So I actually just saw it by chance yesterday. I thought, oh, I'll use that. So there was enough fabric to make these shorts. And I have took them to show her, but I brought them back because obviously I wanted to do this video. But she absolutely was chuffed with them, and the fit are lovely. And using that, you keep the scalloped edge. There was no hem to do on them because you've already got the pretty hem, you know, from the fabric. So that was another pair. These is a pair that I've done Paige, and this has got, it's actually knicker elastic that's round this. So again, it's going all around the edges, and I've even used that for the waist band. So when she's got these in, she's got that pretty edging all the way around, even on the waist. Now the next, well, there's 2 pairs here, but I've made 3 pairs of these. These were a pair of curtains that I paid £1.50 for, and I've got 3 pair of shorts from them because they weren't very long ones. But I love a gingham. So my favourite colour, red and white. And the difference with these is this has got the thick elastic in again because these are a bit more weighty, but I've put, again, a broad jangly lace on the hem, and it's only on the hem. But then at the sides, what I've done is I've bought this trim. I'm going to show you the trim. So with this, you can see it's got elastic loops to put buttons through. I got this from Temu when it came last week, and then I thought, oh, hold on a minute, I can do something different with these shorts. So what I've done is I've put some sailor buttons down the side, and if you look at these, they're stitched almost on the edge because they're just going to come over and go over that because I don't want these overlapping. I just want them at the side like so. So that button does that job. So you can either have them open, or if they're fastened, you've got your side closed. As well as doing that, another couple of options that you can use if you didn't want to go down the route that I've gone on. You could get a zip, right? So you're still going to have your elastic waistband, but you can put a zip and put it in so that the closed bit's at top and the open bit's at bottom. So you can undo the zip, have it open if you want, and then close it up, or even close it up to a certain amount, and that'll still look funky. And then another option would be to put some buttonholes close to the edge. So you're not having them in, close to the edge, putting some buttons, and the buttons are just on the edge. Like, I'm going to just show you on here because these buttons are really on the edge. Can you see there? I've not put them in. They've got to be on the edge so that they're close to go into the loop. Yeah, so you'd put a buttonhole just slightly in, and then your button on the edge so that when you're in, you're not really overlapping much the fabric if you do button them up. So you've got 3 options for a side. One like this, buttonholes and a zip. Now on them, I've put 7 on my youngest daughters, and I've got 5 on mine. So love how those have turned out. Now this pair, there's some elastic, some cotton on that. These are lined. So I think this was it was a quilt cover. So I've got the pink, which was the main fabric on the outside, and then the lining is on the inside. So you can just see there that they're lined. So it's got this beautiful trimming again, going all the way around down the side and across the bottom of the leg. And then I've put thin elastic on this waistband. So it really is quite comfortable. Now, when you're going to do lined ones, you just need to make your lining shorts up, your main shorts up, put them right sides together, and then you're going to stitch down the side, round the leg, and then you're going to pull them through, overlock your tops together, or if you've not got an overlocker, do a fancy stitch, and then just stitch your elastic on like you've seen me doing these shorts, turn them over, stitch them down, and you've got, again, your open leg shorts. So you can see that's going to look very neat, isn't it? You know, when it's open and that. So again, that's another option for doing the shorts. You can line them. And then job's a good one, isn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed this share, guys, on how to make yourself some super easy shorts. And they don't come any easier than these. So thanks for watching. Till next time, bye for now.